Hello, I'm Dave Peach, and this is the Crawfordsville Peachcast, sponsored by Tri-County Bank, your community bank since 1892. See them in person or at tricountybank.net. Tri-County Bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender. Crawfordsville Peachcast, I'm Dave Peach, and guess what? Via Zoom we have...
Dave Meyer.
Dave Meyer. That's Meyer.
Dave, I'm excited to be here.
We need to spell your name a couple of times because people probably think, is it Meyer? Is it Meyer? Is there an S at the end? There's no S. And it's just like, now is Oscar Meyer is spelled Mayer, right?
Correct. And I have no stake in the grocery business.
That is one of those Mandela things that people think it was spelled differently or something. I don't know, but it's Dave Meyer, Meyer.
Yes, Dave. From Newcastle originally, now via Indianapolis. Happy to be here again.
And we are presented by Tri-County Bank. That's Bank. Okay. And they're your hometown bank since 1892.
That's a good run.
We're also sponsored by Central Indiana Rubber. Power for you. 1, 2, 3. Hello.
Hello.
Todd. We are going to, I watched broadcast news recently, so I picked up on a phrase, bury the lead. We're not going to bury the lead here.
Okay.
Todd Douglas is a huge Indiana State University fan. As we're taping right now, they're getting set for the Final Four in the NIT. How about that?
Exciting, Dave. They'll be playing in Hinkle Fieldhouse, right?
They will be, depending on when you listen to this. They will have played, or I guess, no, we're going to drop April 4th. So you'd have to really listen quick if they make it to the championship game. So anyway, but congratulations, Indiana State. What they do, they took lemons and made lemonade. Is that what they say?
They did. They won their first NIT game after being the highest rated team to not make the NCAA tournament. Is that correct, Dave?
That is correct. I believe as far as the net rankings go. And as we sit right now, we are taping this on March the 27th. Is that right?
That is correct, sir.
So we've got 2 more games to determine the final 4 teams in the NIT. Hinkle Fieldhouse is already sold out at this point for the semifinals. It's already sold out.
I'm blown away by that.
God,
Dave. It speaks well for Hinkle and the teams that are coming.
Okay, we're going to talk a little hoops here in segment 1. Then we're going to go over Unbreakable Sports Records and why they are unbreakable. Okay. And then you're going to tell me of the Unbreakable Records, which would be the easiest or most likely to be broken.
Okay, good. I like this.
And I also thought in the bathroom today. Now let's talk about Unbreakable Records. We'll get to NIT or NCAA basketball notes here, but real quick, like field goal. Okay, I don't know if a guy can make a 109-yard field goal because he would have to. Where would he line up? I mean, and where would I guess they would snap the ball, so it'd be 7 yards. So, I mean, they're not going to snap it 10 yards, right, from the one to the back of the end zone, and then the guy's going to have to kick it 109 yards. Where would he line up? I was
going to say, can you start out of the end zone and then kick in the end zone, and that's okay?
Let's see. But so I'm thinking, there might be some. What was that one little game we played in the 70s? Super toe.
Oh, Super Toe.
There might be a Super Toe that kicks a 75-yard field goal, but I think at some point you wonder the physics of it.
I was going to say, Dave, I don't want to cross the streams, but Gus.
What is it now?
The movie that wasn't Gus a field goal kicker for Disney?
What is the record right now? Is it 69? The guy from Baltimore, Justin.
I think so. For a long time,
Tucker,
it was 60,
Justin Tucker.
It was
no,
the guy. It was 63 yards.
Tom Dempsey.
It was the guy. Tom Dempsey. That was the standard.
I believe he was
time.
That was the anyway, but 63, and then Justin Tucker, I think, is Baltimore, and he kicked a it bounced off. Anyway, so 109-yard field goal. That's your goal, guys and gals. Could be either one. NCAA tournament, of course, the first 4 days in the books. And, we've got the Final Four, and will Purdue make it? Will UConn make it? Well, you'll know by the time you listen to this who's going to be in it. But a couple of things that we did note here. No Jim Nance. No Jim Nance during the coverage. Did that bother you at all, Dave? Were you looking for that? Did you need that?
Well, it was sly because, of course, we had Jim Nance in a lot of commercials singing or broadcasting from various different locations with his friends. So even though Jim was not calling games, his presence was every time, you saw Spike Lee or Samuel L. Jackson, you seem to see Jim. So Jim's not missing out on the paycheck as a result of not calling the games.
I liked him in that. That's what March is for, playing the harmonica.
So good.
I mean, that was freshman with a hot hand, shoots and scores.
And that's Dionne Warwick, Dave.
Yeah.
She's back.
And also he was in the stands for the Houston versus Texas A&M game.
Yeah, nice cameo.
Yeah.
Very nice. Jim's a Houston guy.
I don't think that sweatshirt was worn. I think that was new.
Yeah.
I think when you're Jim Nance and you got a sweatshirt you're going to wear, I think you're probably wearing new.
You're wearing new. You're like Michael Jordan with a pair of shoes, right? You're not going to wear last night's game shoes.
No, you're not. Kind of like William Hurt in broadcast news when you're going on for a live report on a Libyan fighter jet or something like that. You're going to pick it says shirts right there on the box. So you pick out a shirt, you put it on, you go. Let's see. Okay, another question. Where did the AT&T lady go?
Ooh, good question. She has been put on the bench for this campaign. She is, I forget her name, very popular, though.
Yes.
And no, it would be interesting to see if, like, somehow she tested better with the non-basketball crowd or something. I don't know.
I mean, they'd throw it to her on a desk or so. They'd like, hey, here she is, breaking down the action or something like that. I mean, she was actually referred to by Greg Gumbel and all that. I don't know what happened to her, but anyway, she's gone. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday of the first days of the NCAA tournament. What is the best day, Dave?
I still go with the Thursday, just because it's you go from like a shotgun start, and there's so many games, and the games are overlapping, and that's where you got to flip her back and forth or have the split screen. And you watch the games you want to watch, and oh my God, look over here, it's tight with you got it. So to me, the first day, I mean, that first weekend is the best, but that first day just sets the tone. And then there's never not a first day without upsets. So
something going on. Yeah. I'll also say I kind of like Saturday. I know that's kind of an odd, kind of an outlier, but Saturday, when it gets down to those second round matchups, those early games on Saturday, and then I love the Saturday night, late night fun that goes with it. So I'm going to say Friday night, I'm usually taking a nap a little bit. When the action kind of calms down, I will take a nap on Friday, mid-evening, and then kind of perk up if something's happening. But kind of like that Saturday, although Thursday is pretty cool. Now, as far as the Sweet 16, we had a ton of, Power Six, not necessarily blue bloods, but you had Duke, Gonzaga, North Carolina, Purdue, UConn, Arizona, and then what I call close friends of the Power Five, and soon to be Power Five conferences, right? Because the Pac-12 is going away.
Yeah,
Gonzaga and San Diego State.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I mean, and I was going to say conference-wise, the Mountain West had how many? They had 3 teams, 3 or 4,
5 or 6, I think. I don't know. I'd have to check.
I mean, and so San Diego State getting through again is not unexpected.
And they've been good for a long time. Solid team. Nowhere near Gonzaga. We can get into money. Gonzaga spends a lot of money on the program.
Yeah,
I mean, they spend a lot of money. 2 times what Purdue spends on theirs. In case that doesn't count nil, but I'm not going to get into money and all that stuff. Let's rate the Cinderellas. Okay. I'm going to tell you rate the Cinderellas. I'll read them. Grand Canyon, James Madison, Duquesne, Oakland, and Yale. Rate those Cinderellas, the winners, the first round darlings.
I tell you, I'm going to go. I'll just start with the ones. Oakland, to me, was the biggest on the first day, right? And I mean, it involved, a lot that was attractive. You've got this guy who's a lot older and kind of looks like it too, who's throwing up threes with reckless abandon. So that's like, wow. And they win. And Dave, they really had the chance against NC State and did not. I felt like they could have moved on. So they were, in my mind. Duquesne, though. How about Duquesne, right? That was cool.
You've got LeBron James, high school coach,
who is retiring. So basically kind of, playing with house money. So that was a good story to begin with. Grand Canyon. Wow. I mean, how long has that been a school, Dave?
Is it a school?
Is it a school? I don't.
It is.
I don't know.
It is. I don't know. There's some controversy.
It has to be, I believe.
There's some controversy.
Again, so I mean, some of these schools come out of nowhere, while a lot of schools are on the bench. But I loved watching those upsets every year. I learn about these schools. I look them up. I can't, the public relations economic value to these schools, I'm sure it can be calculated in some way. But I mean, first of all, how many people looked up Oakland and then like, oh, that's in Michigan?
Yeah, Detroit. Yeah. I'll rate. I rate Oakland 1, Yale 2, Grand Canyon 3, James Madison 4, and Duquesne 5. Duquesne's not necessarily. I mean, they're in the A10, right?
Yes.
So that's not.
Yeah. So they're. Yeah, that's true. They're
kind of a non. But so that's. We're also going to talk about replays in college basketball. We got to get the out of bounds thing worked out, and then we got to get the clock thing worked out.
Yes.
It takes too long, and I think they need to go to the NBA style where the referee they do a review, and the referee just looks in the camera and tells us what's going on.
Yeah. No, and that they may get there. I believe so, because it's obviously more eyeballs, right? And everything is elevated. And when those times happen, especially at the end of games, it's pretty dramatic. And so they've got to tighten it down a little bit, and I'm sure they will, as they go through it. But I mean, how long have we had this level of replay, I guess?
Well, it started. There was a game, I think it was Illinois versus Miami or something like that, and there was an obvious call. And so then they said you can replay out of bounds in the last 2 minutes. And that's where it came at. And I think that game was probably about 10 years ago, and that really started it. I was also at a game one time, a little history, at least that I was watching. In 1993, I did a game. Mm-hmm. It was IU versus Xavier.
Oh, yeah.
And Damon Bailey, remember Damon Bailey?
Yes.
We're at the RCA Dome, and Damon Bailey came over and he asked our friend Mark Haste. Remember, Mark was the official scorekeeper. I was a PA announcer, and Damon Bailey came over and asked Mark, how many timeouts does Xavier have left? And Mark told him none. Well, it was a close game. They did not stop the clock or made baskets at the time. And IU milked the clock a little bit. They won by 1 point that day. And very soon afterwards, they said, okay, we're going to stop the clock when you make a basket in the last minute. So sometimes these things work out to where they're going to happen. But that was very clear. And I remember the coach, and we're going way back, but Coach Bill Stearman at North said, if the other team doesn't have any timeouts and you make a basket, or they make a basket and you're up 3, don't inbound the ball. 4 seconds left. Just let the clock run out.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't do it. Anyway, that's, anyway, we're way out.
Those were the days.
Those were the days. Now, quickly, now coaches wear quarter zips instead of suits. Did you like it was like white quarter zip day on Sunday, I believe. It's like every or Saturday and Sunday, many of the coaches wore the white quarter zip, and you zip those bad boys up all the way.
Yes. No,
I've never now I got a quarter zip right now. I couldn't handle it zipped up all the way, but these guys are coaching with those quarter zips zipped all the way up. I got to have a little breathing room. I
got to have breathing room.
I don't know what's up with that.
Maybe they have specially made breathable
quarter zips
on there, but I mean, overall much better than the days of wearing the suit or even the sweater, really, with the quarter zip. So got to thank some people that changed that paradigm.
Yeah, no more Tom Landry. Let's see, now showing announcers calling buzzer beaters and exciting plays. Do you like that, where they actually just show the announcer during the game? Normally it's like 2 days later, hey, look at the Minnesota announcer that made this call 2 days ago. Now we get to see it right away. They show that as part of the replay package.
Yeah, no, I think it's cool, but I'm old school in that's not the thing. But it's kind of cool to see.
You're talking about in broadcast news where Ernie says, "Who cares what you think?"
Exactly.
Okay.
That is exactly.
Well, I
right.
watch broadcast news. I'm thinking, wow, I got a lot of. I'm not going to bury the lead. Yeah. Charles Barkley said Grand Canyon played the dumbest game ever. They never ran a play. They just ran to the basket. It's like an 8-second shot clock. I didn't realize that watching the game. And then afterwards, when Charles pointed that out, I go, that's right. They never, they just went right to the basket every time.
Yeah.
Lost Alabama. That's in the game they lost.
Yes. And why? Because I don't know. But maybe we'll see Grand Canyon again. Who knows?
We could. And one more point here, NCAA basketball, Kentucky.
Ooh.
Would you say that Kentucky is similar? Maybe they are college basketball's answer to the Dallas Cowboys.
Ooh, perfect. Dave, that is the perfect analogy. They are the blue bloods, right? And they work that way. They recruit that way. It appeared they were, before the tournament, on a roll, right? And coming together the way a Kentucky team did for about 10 years ago, right? Every year it'd be like, oh, Kentucky's, they're 10 deep, right? And 7 of them may be lottery picks. But Dave, that model does not work the same way in the era of, post-COVID nil with 23, 24, 25-year-old players who may not have the same level of physical skills, but their experience negates some of that, some of that blue blood recruit talent.
No question, the networks would like to have Kentucky moving on in the tournament, just like the networks would like to see the Dallas Cowboys in a Super Bowl again. I think Dallas versus Kansas City this year would have been just I mean, if you needed more juice for this Super Bowl, but certainly Dallas, they want them to win, but I guess it's kind of like the Yankees. Money can't buy the whole. It can't make shots in the clutch, and it can't stop, guys like Townsend and Golke or whatever his name was hitting shots for Oakland.
Well, and I mean, what is Calipari going to stick around? He's not a young guy, and he's been there a while, right?
I think he will. Boy, you talk about a buyout, $33 million buyout. That's a lot of buyout.
Gig.
That's a lot of buyout.
You're like, well, I guess I'll leave.
We have Unbreakable. That might be an Unbreakable buyout. We have Unbreakable Sports Records coming up on the Crawfordsville Peachcast. Crawfordsville Peachcast, and we are talking about unbreakable sports records. There's a lot of reasons why I think these are unbreakable. I'm going to start out with the 56-game hitting streak of Joe DiMaggio. I think it was 41. The streak was 56 games. Now, David, only one streak since 1941 has gone more than 40. That was Pete Rose in 1978. And,
very familiar with that.
And when you look at, what guys have done recently, I mean, when they get 30, or I'm sorry, Paul Molitor had 39 and 87, and Jimmy Rollins had 38 in 05 and 06. He had a little carryover. Yeah. So 39 and 38. Pete Rose is 40 in 1978. I mean, nobody's getting close, and I'll let you weigh in on why this record is unbreakable.
Well, people talk about some of the hardest things to do in sports, right? It's people talk about how hard golf is, but they say the hardest thing to do is to hit a baseball, right? A professionally pitched baseball. So that in and of itself, the fact that even if you're successful in baseball, 7 times out of 10, you make an out. So even the best start out with that. So I would say 56 games. There is no way with today's modern era, the level of pitching, and the fact too that, when DiMaggio was doing this, a lot of starters were pitching the whole game, and the science of relief pitching had not entered baseball, right? So the game has changed.
Guys right now are averaging about 5.3 innings pitched a game. I mean, that's what the starting pitcher normally goes. So you've got guys that, they're not middle relievers. They're I guess it is middle reliever, but the middle reliever used to come in the 7th inning. Now they come into the 5th.
Right. And also too, as a batter, you're getting your rhythm down. First time you see the guy, you hit a line drive maybe, or you do this, you adjust. Facing, especially with just so much very specific, substitutions. It's a harder, I would say it's just a harder paradigm for a batter to 57 games in a row, which is of an 82-game season, having
160,
that, even if
162.
Oh, okay, 162. Yeah, 82. Yes, I'm thinking of NBA, but 55. So how can you? That is just to me, that is the most unbreakable.
And one thing I wanted to point out is the media coverage that this player would have once they got to 35 or 40. Oh. Even more than Molitor in 87 or Rollins in 06. That would be Caitlin Clark-esque as far as media coverage. You would have a whole room of journalists that weren't there before.
Yeah, no,
covering this, and it would be the pressure after 40 would be so great that I don't think a poor guy. And you're playing at different times. You're playing in all these different places. You've got interleague play. It's not like you're seeing different pitchers. Who's pitching one day or whatever. I know they look at all this stuff and do all the research and all that, but still, in all, it would absolutely be just a massive amount of publicity once you got to about 35 or 40.
And it would be really hard. I remember like 78 was I remember Pete Rose talking about, because everywhere he went, that was the story. And it was like, who's he going to pass? And I remember at one point it was like he passed Wee Willie Keeler, who had like not in the modern era. It wasn't even considered a record because it happened in the 1800s, but it was like, okay, he passed Wee Willie Keeler and there's nobody else left between he and Joe DiMaggio. And and he was feeling the pressure. If you remember, like there were times that Rose got another at bat because I remember there was one time like Bench laid down a bunt and got on, basically he was in a pinch hitting role that got Pete another at bat. There's things that happen in that streak that, luck has to play a role as well. But the pressure from the media would be unheard of.
And I guess, as I remember it, Dave, and I'd have to look it up. I did not do the proper research, but I think DiMaggio had like a 20-game winning or hitting streak after he got stopped at 57. It was
right.
It was
he missed and then he picked it up again.
Yeah.
So and that was also, if I'm correct, Dave, was that the same year that Ted Williams hit 400?
Correct, 1941. What a year.
Wow.
But that is an absolutely unbreakable record. I don't think it'll ever happen again. Second one, boy, again, different era, different landscape. UCLA's 7 NCAA championships in a row.
Yeah,
7 in a row. Nobody's ever won 3 in a row.
I was going to say,
except UCLA.
Right, you could drop it. Right, you could say, okay, you only have to get to 4. And nobody could do it. I mean, in the modern era, Florida was one back-to-back. But
I've got them here, Dave. Florida 06-07, Duke 91-92, Cincinnati 61-62. I thought maybe San Francisco won 3 in a row, but 55-56. Kentucky 48-49, Oklahoma State 45-46. I've got nobody has won 3 in a row. I thought maybe Kansas did, but I could be wrong on that, but
I don't think in this era, especially now, I don't think you're going to see anybody win back to back.
Well, UConn's got a good chance this year as we're recording it.
They do, but they do, but they've it's going to be interesting.
Well, UCLA, and here's the thing. Here's the thing about UCLA. Back in the 60s and 70s when this happened, there were not 64 teams in the NCAA tournament.
Right.
You were always west. The teams were always geographically located. So UCLA would never be shipped east. They'd never be shipped south. They were always in the west. You're talking maybe one game to get to the Sweet 16,
right?
Maybe a bye to the Sweet 16. So now granted, to win 4 games is to win 4 games against top flight competition. I think you could also make an argument that West Coast basketball was not as competitive as East Coast basketball and Southern basketball. You may beat me up on that. I'm sure there were a lot of great teams out west, but granted, we never saw them. We didn't really see them. But UCLA, fewer games, not as much competition as far as recruiting as we have now. Had a lot of advantages. Of course, John Wooden, Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bill Walton, and all the rest. I think there's so many things you could throw at this. One is the number of games in the NCAA tournament, and the other is the recruiting.
Yeah,
that UCLA ruled.
Yeah, they. The players that they were able to attract and keep during that time. And again, this was also when were freshmen made eligible, right? Because that was part of this era. They won their 7 when freshmen were not eligible. So, I mean, and nowadays freshmen have an outsized role pretty much in every tournament. Also, how many places where you have a coach stay that long, right? I mean, it happens. Krzyzewski retired. Tom Izzo's still at it. Like that. I mean, there are the Yale coach, right, who's been there a long time, but that's a little different situation. But at the highest level of Division I college basketball, how many coaches have been around a long time?
And, you look at longevity, Coach Wooden won 10 of 12 during that time, including the 7 in a row. 10 of 12 men's basketball championships. I don't know. You could also throw Boston Celtics in the 60s because, fewer teams in the NBA and all on all of that. But, there is just no way that somebody's going to win 7 NCAA championships in a row. I mean, UConn's got
No.
a shot. They got to win 6 in a row.
They got to win
they're,
6
they're on
more.
the clock.
They're
UConn,
on the clock.
you are on the clock.
You have a chance.
We'll see you
Let's
in
see how it goes.
20, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. We'll see you in 29 when you're going for number 7.
So, okay, let's try to figure out. So, like, some of the starters in like that 6th championship are now playing Little League ball.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you better get out and get them. But Dan Hurley, if anybody can do it, Dan Hurley can.
He can do it.
He can do it. That's just flat out remarkable. Now, the other one that we're going to focus on, the NFL undefeated season. Miami did it. 1972. It was a 14-game regular season.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, a couple of things. I'll let you, Dave. Dave, you tell me why this is not going to happen again.
Three more games, I'd say, is one reason. But again, the NFL was not as large of a business with as much data, research, analytics going into every part of it. At the time in 72, there were probably still some guys on that team that were working a job when they got done with the season. They great, nothing to take away from the players, and Don Shula was obviously a coach that was above many during his era. So they were well coached. They had a good team, but the level, I mean, the specifics of how teams draft and the specialists, the pass rushers that exist today, the rules, my goodness, the rules are an entirely different game in terms of the physicality. There's a lot of reasons, but I just don't think that an NFL team in this era can be perfect.
No, and again, we go back to UCLA. Another thing about the NCAA tournament back then was the time of the games. You didn't have games that start at 9:40. I mean, they were in the afternoon. Everything was all regimented. The NFL now, you've got Thursday games, you got Monday games, you got Christmas Day games that are on a Wednesday, for goodness sakes, coming up this year, which is another whole matter. But the two teams that have come closest, the Bears in 85. And what night of the week did they lose on?
It was
Monday night. Monday night. Had to play Miami. Of all the years to play Miami.
Right. When Marino was at his apex, right? He had just come off of being in the Super Bowl the year before.
And, of course, you had literally had Miami Dolphin greats in the locker room wanting to address the players before the game because they were so concerned about their potential. What do they do? Have champagne and cigars or something when the last undefeated?
Every time it happens.
Yeah.
Well, the Bears in my mind, it looked like obviously the Patriots a few years ago, but the Bears
07 when they lost 17-14 to the Giants.
I feel like the Bears had a better chance because the Patriots were like, well, they're just the best and no one can touch them. And gee whiz, there's no way the Giants are going to beat them. I mean, it looked like just a boring Super Bowl that we were going to crown the Patriots. And that did not happen. So in my mind, I remember watching that Monday night game and thinking, the Bears, they'll be fine. They don't need to, it doesn't matter to them as much to be undefeated.
Yeah, we did have the old Colts, and I just remember this. Remember the Colts in the year they lost to the Saints?
Yeah.
They were undefeated, and there's still some talk among the players about how they wanted to go for the undefeated season, and the coaching staffs and the owners said, no, we're gonna play for the playoffs.
Right.
And we see how that worked out, guys.
Yep. Bring out the second guessers because, folks, that did not go well.
No.
And, clearly a case to be made that the best of Peyton Manning's Colts teams did not won the Super Bowl, right? We won it the year we did, but that was probably not the best Colts team.
I'm going to say of the three that we've talked about, and I'll let you, if you've got another unbreakable record, I'd have to say that the one that would be at least imaginable would be the NFL undefeated season. If somebody somehow got a weaker schedule, the teams didn't kind of roll in the way you thought they would. There's a possibility. Of course, you got another game now. It's not 16; it's 17 games, and you might have to go to London. You might have to,
or Brazil
or something like that. So there's so many things, different times and Sunday nights and all that stuff. But I would say that of the three, the undefeated NFL season is the most likely of the very unlikelies.
I have to agree. I definitely have to agree. I think that's the possible one out of those three. I think when I think of other unbreakable records, I think of Wilt Chamberlain, 100 points in a game, right? And probably Cal Ripken Jr. for games played.
Consecutive
games played, which again, I think those two are also both in that category. But of those two, Dave, which would you think are possible?
I think 100 points in an NBA game. I think it could happen with the way players shoot threes. You just got to get teammates that are willing to pass the ball.
Right.
And
I was going to say,
it's really. You wonder how many. If they just said, okay, you're hot, you get to shoot every time.
Yeah.
And you just do it. It would almost be an intentional thing, kind of like somebody playing a video game and just having the same player shoot over and over and over and over again, and nobody complains in the video game, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, it's possible, but boy, I don't. You would have to. Someone would really have to feed you, and you'd have to be hitting the threes. Because you think about these games when somebody breaks out and scores 60, or occasionally somebody. I think. Didn't Kobe in his very last game go for like 70 or some, kind of thing like that? So occasionally you get that. But when's the last time somebody hit 80? I don't remember that.
I'm going to go with another unbreakable, just kind of running into it, when Chamberlain averaged, I think it was 50.4 a game.
Right. And I think
he also averaged 50 a game.
Like 50 a game and like 26 rebounds or some crazy number.
To average 50, many games you'd have to score 60.
Yeah.
Because there'd be some games maybe you didn't have it and you only scored
you just
40.
got 40.
Well, I don't think I could. You're right. I forgot about Wilt Chamberlain. We got to throw him in there. I don't think anybody's going to average 50 anytime soon in the NBA, but I would say I'm pretty comfortable with the three that we set out there.
Yeah.
I think they're pretty unbreakable. If you're listening to this in 21-34 by some chance and somebody won 8 straight NCAA championships, you'll say, they were wrong.
Check in.
We
want to know about it.
Come back to 2024 and tell us about it in your spaceship.
Exactly.
Okay. Coming up, an Indiana record near and dear that I don't think it's going to be broken anytime soon. It's coming up next on the Crawfordsville Peach Cast.
You dropped your cell phone, the car won't start, and now your email has been hacked. Yup. Ever had one of those days? Tri-County Bank can help with a protection plan powered by Bazing. This is Bria French. Contact any of our offices to see how Bazing can resolve those big issues. Terms and conditions may apply. Tri-County Bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
It's time for segment 3 of the Crawfordsville Peach Cast. Welcome. We got a quick look at the, we don't have to, this is a podcast, right? We can take as long as we want.
It's the Peach Cast.
There's no, that's right. It's Peach Cast. Soundtrack, Nothing in Common. Very 80s. Sounded to me a little like LA Law / Magnum PI.
Yeah, very much. Like, where is Mike Hill? Or is that
Mike
right?
Post.
Mike Hill.
Mike Post.
Mike Post.
Yeah, Mike Post.
That did all those. He did St. Elsewhere. He did, yeah, it seems like all those.
Hill Street Blues.
Hill Street Blues. But it felt like this was a song. It's like, okay, write me a song with nothing in common in it. And the Thompson Twins were hot, right? Hold Me Now was that a number one, Dave?
Well, actually, David, Christopher Cross had the theme, kind of the opening. He was in the opening and he was in the close, and I kept waiting for the Thompson Twins, and they didn't enter. Their song wasn't played until after, like the extra scenes. So you were long out of the theater by the time they,
is what we heard at the open and what they kept coming back to thematically, right?
Yes. And so the Thompson Twins didn't, I mean, I don't know. They didn't get a very good placement in the soundtrack. We also heard Carly Simon. And we
one
also,
of the montages, I believe, wasn't that the one when they were eating at the restaurant, maybe?
I think so. And let's see. Also, we had, we'll get to Richard Marx later, but there's a lot of piano, and it was reminiscent of St. Elmo's Spire. And I thought little Rocky IV too, a little Rocky IV piano.
David Fosterish.
Yes, very much so.
Oh my, yeah. No, this is I mean, when you look at who's on this soundtrack, Carly Simon, Aretha Franklin, The Kinks. I mean, that's a decent lineup.
Curtis, are you familiar with any of these people?
No. I have heard of Carly Simon before, and I have heard of St. Elmo's Fire, both the movie and the song. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's a typical Tom Hanks movie soundtrack. Curtis
is so well behaved among his elders.
He is just a model.
What he must say when we go to bed at night.
Oh yeah,
and he gets to watch TV by himself and watch his own shows. How about Christopher Cross? Heard of Christopher Cross?
I think I may have heard of him. I'm not. It's one of those things where I have to listen to it, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, that song," and then like, that's when the brain goes off and recognizes it.
Dave, was this the last gasp for Christopher Cross as far as movie, as far as a relevancy, as far as music goes, as far as on a national scale?
Yeah, historically, yes. This is probably proven to be. I mean, you and I both know that his debut album was as big as it can be when it came out. The song Ride Like the Wind got played 1 billion times. And there were at least 3 or 4 cuts off that first album.
Sailing, of course.
Sailing, yeah. That were heavy rotation play on the radio during that time. And I remember having his second album on cassette, which didn't have as many hits, but I liked it very much. So I was a Christopher Cross fan at that time.
Okay, David, we have to talk about the Richard Marx song.
Okay.
And what was going on the screen during the Richard Marx song. I believe, is there a way that we can erase that from our brains?
I don't think you can, because there's such a setup. Okay. And this is not a new concept. We're going to go to the boss's rich place, ranch on the weekend or whatever. So while they're out there, and then the boss decides, there's something about, I don't even know all these terms, but there's gelding, and that's not involved.
No.
So it would be a stud and a mare, I think, is the premise. So basically, they kick off.
I'm sorry. I'm just sitting here.
They've got this Richard Marx.
Okay.
It's called Burning of the Heart. Okay, that's the song. Okay. And it's got like that kind of charged rhythm of Burning of the Heart. Richard Marx in the heyday of his Richard Marxness. Okay. And we're cutting back and forth. between the horses.
I'm not going to laugh. I'm sorry. I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to listen.
Looking at each other, and then Tom Hanks and Celia Ward looking at each other. Yeah. I mean, I didn't know how far we were going to go, but it did. It's a big scene in the movie.
Yeah.
The horse servicing montage to the Richard Marx music.
Well,
Curtis, you might have to cut that.
Yeah,
no, you don't have to cut. No, don't cut anything. Don't cut anything. I mean, Richard Marx has to live with what he did.
Yes, we're not gonna.
He has to live with what he did, and the indelible memory that will be in my mind.
That scene is more than a minute. It's minutes.
Yeah,
so. No getting away of, and it prominently featured. He might have been paid more than whatever the Cruzados got for 7 summers.
Okay, now Dave, while it's fresh in your mind, we're going to move away from the soundtrack of Nothing in Common, the movie that we just did.
Okay,
we got to hear the Bruce Hornsby story. I saw Bruce Hornsby recently at the Palladium in Carmel. Quite the venue, I must say.
Yes,
very nice.
Yes.
You've been there?
Yeah, I saw Lewis Black, the comedian. I saw him over there.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's a very nice place. So, just kind of an excuse me. I got tickets. Do you want them? I'm going to Bruce Hornsby. It was a little bit, I would have liked Bruce to say one time, thank you for buying my records in the 80s and making me a household name. It didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
But that's where I'll leave that. That's where I'll leave that. But you have a Bruce Hornsby story.
I have a Bruce Hornsby story. This came, let me think. It was probably sometime late 90s, early 2000s, working on a large, a project for a corporation that would bring in large people. In other words, we had Huey Lewis in the News play a private concert after an awards ceremony. And for the main event at the, I guess what they would call a general session of this large meeting for this corporation, Gregory Hines was the kind of the main event. The thing was themed with Step Up. So Gregory Hines was kind of the guy to kick it all off. Well, as part of that, I got to interview him and kind of direct him in that process. And he talked about other artists. At one point, I teed him up, and he'd worked with Gene Hackman, and Gene Hackman was his idol as far as acting. And then he talked about different people as far as dance. And as far as music, he said, my favorite is Bruce Hornsby. And he said, and I'll tell you why. He said, I love the way he plays. And he said, I've seen him so many times. And he talked about seeing him when he did not have a voice. Basically, he had lost his voice. And he said he had to reach down and do something that he didn't know he could do. And by us being there together, we were a part of it. And it was basically, he talked about how artists, really true artists, overcome physical barriers and create something even greater. So that was, again, I'm dropping names, but the late Gregory Hines talking about his affinity and affection for Bruce Hornsby.
Wow. So now I feel really bad about saying that about Bruce Hornsby, but
well, that was, he was talking about the 80s, Bruce, probably, or the 90s, right?
I got it. I don't know. It's, but so like you're working with Huey Lewis and Gregory Hines and they drop Bruce Hornsby in there.
I mean, of all the people that Gregory Hines was going to drop, I did not expect Bruce Hornsby.
Well, Dave, I guess that's the way it is.
That is the way it is, Dave. I don't know if we buttoned this one up perfectly.
We got it.
We did go out on a name dropper.
We got it. Bruce Hornsby. Well, we've got range.
We've got range.
And with that, folks, that will be the Crawfordsville Pete's Cast. Curtis, thank you.
Thank you for having a lot of range.
Dave Meyer.
Oh, Curtis is throwing heaters, Dave, there at the end.
We are presented by Tri-County Bank, your community bank since 1892, and also by Central Indiana Rubber, Power for you. 1, 2, 3.
Hello,
Todd.
Todd.
Thanks for listening to the Crawfordsville Peach Cast, sponsored by Tri-County Bank, your community bank since 1892. Tri-County Bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender. Tune in Thursday for a new episode on Apple or Spotify, and please like, subscribe, and download the Crawfordsville Peach Cast. This podcast was produced and edited by Up Their Media and is a presentation of Fork Broadcasting Digital. I'm Dave Peach, inviting you to join me next week.